So we're going to begin by analyzing whether it's 1 point or 2 point perspective. And you guys were guessing that this is 1 point. I feel like the 1 point can be easily identified as everything seems to be converging. So what you're going to do is step 1. Is it 1 point or 2? So you want to write 1 point perspective on there. That's the first thing you want to do. The second part says draw 5 orthogonal lines. You could draw more than that. So you can do this by putting a ruler, any kind of straight edge down. I'm looking at this line right here. I'm going to put that ruler down on that line, and then I'm going to draw it towards where I think that vanishing point is. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, I'm going to do that line, 4, maybe the street, 5, maybe the other side of the street, 6. So I can see my 6 orthogonal lines, and they kind of converge in this area. It says locate and label the vanishing points. That's what I did. After you draw the 5 or more orthogonal lines, you can then locate and prove where the vanishing point is and label it 1 point perspective. So were we right with our guess? Yes, we were. The fourth item here says trace details. Determine the line direction used. So when we trace the details, details would be things like doors and windows. So you can use a colored pencil to trace the doors and windows. So I've got a window here, and I traced it. Now, determine the direction. Well, these are orthogonal. The top and the bottom are orthogonal, and the sides of the windows are all vertical. So as we think about the line direction rules for 1 point and 2 point perspective, we think about the 3 line directions you should use for each. And you should find these line directions true for each of the examples that we are analyzing in this packet. 1 point perspective and 2 point perspective. So does this 1 point perspective project have the correct line use? What are the 3 directions? Vertical, horizontal, and orthogonal. So here are some details that have horizontal, vertical, but the sides, those would go to the vanishing point. I mean, the top and the bottom of the windows would go to the vanishing point because the side of the building does. So if you were to watch the video on doors and windows, you would see how I teach how to draw this. This is the analysis part, which teaches you to look at something and draw what you see, draw the angles you see. So it looks like I'm done with this side, with these bulleted areas for this drawing. So then we can move on to the next drawing. The next drawing is of it's actually a photograph, not a drawing, because I want you to see that this is true in real life. So we look at real life and we draw what we see. So we would end up drawing the same things, tracing the same things. What I do not want you to do is I do not want you to worry about the Twin Towers in the background. This is of New York City before the Twin Towers collapsed. This is, I'm pretty sure that this is like right before Brooklyn. And the bridge would be like over here, the Brooklyn Bridge. Anyway, so what can we do? Determine whether you think it's 1 point or 2 point, and then draw 5 or 6 orthogonal lines. And look, I'm going to use the dotted lines on the side of the road. Look, I'm going to put my ruler down on the dotted lines on the side of the road. And I can see that in a real life photograph, that it is true that this is 1 point. And I have found that 1 point. In fact, I feel like this did a better job at determining the vanishing point than the drawing did. It's more precise.